Hello, Magpies. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to if you're new. And I got my camera working, yay! My microphone is working. I'm using a different microphone. I've used it before, but it's not my Blue Yeti. And it's the type of microphone where you tap it, it mutes. But with my Blue Yeti, I used to tap it all the time for sounds. And now this one I have to try not to tap it or else I'll lose my audio. So I just trying not to touch my microphone. But anyways, since it is spooky season, it's also a little stormy outside, I thought this would be the perfect time to do another psychological thriller book rating slash summary of the books, how I liked them. Now these are all pretty popular psychological thriller books, especially The Silent Patient. If you are into psychological books or even horror books, this is so good. It's a classic. So we can start off strong with The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. Sorry, I don't know how to say his last name. His or her last name, I don't know. And this book's been around for a while. I read it, I want to say like 10 years ago. And then I recently found it again, going through my bookshelf, and I was like, you know what, it's been a while since I've read that, and I remember really enjoying it. And I did. I enjoyed it just as much the second time. Okay, so the back is just like author reviews. So I'll open it up and I'll give you a little taste of what this book is about. Alicia Berenson's life is seemingly perfect. A famous painter married to an in-demand fashion photographer. She lives in a grand house overlooking a park in one of London's most desirable areas. One evening, her husband, Gabriel, returns home late from work, and Alicia, I don't know if I can say this, pew him 5 times in the face, and then never speaks another word. Alicia's refusal to talk or give any other kind of explanation turns a domestic tragedy into something far grander, a mystery that captures the public imagination and casts Alicia into notoriety. The price of her art skyrockets, and she, the silent patient, is hidden away from the tabloids and spotlight at the Grove, a secure psychiatric unit in North London. Criminal psychotherapist Theo Faber is captivated by Alicia's story and jumps at the opportunity to work with her. Her determination to get her to talk and unravel the mystery of why she, her husband, takes him down a path more unexpected, more terrifying than he ever imagined, more terrifying than he ever imagined. A search for the truth that threatens to consume him. Shocking, thought-provoking, and deeply twisted, The Silent Patient is a spellbinding psychological thriller about violence, obsession, and the dark side of passion. That was a really long explanation, but I highly recommend this book. If you've never read any psychological thriller, I would rate this one 10 out of 10 is what I rated. So good, so twisted, so like captivating, fingers burning from turning the pages so quickly. Like I was involved, I was invested in this book. So 10 out of 10 recommend. If you've read it, let me know in the comments how you liked it. So that's book number 1. Alright, the next one July 2022. So yeah, relatively recent. So this is Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney. In my previous video, I reviewed her book, Rock, Paper, Scissors. I prefer this one. This was really good. I don't know if you've seen Knives Out, but it kind of gave me that vibe. It's like a M-U-R-D-E-R mystery. I don't know if I can say these words or not. Sorry. It's kind of hard not to when all these books are like scary books about violence. But anyways, it's like a murder mystery. If you've seen Knives Out, so it's a family and it's like a whodunit. It's really good. So on the back it says, after years of avoiding one another, Daisy Darker's entire family is assembling for Nana's 80th birthday party in Nana's crumbling Gothic house on a tiny tidal island. Then at the stroke of midnight, as a storm rages, Nana is found. And an hour later, the next family member follows. So yeah, it's a whodunit book. It's really good though. I enjoyed it. Again, it reminds me of Knives Out. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen the movie, you should watch the movie and read this book. I give this an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. But some of the characters were a little lackluster. They didn't. I overall enjoyed it, but I think it could have been better. I think the ending could have been a little bit better, but I can't go into details because I don't want to spoil it. But I do recommend this one for sure. 8 out of 10. Let's see. I'll go with this one next. Frida McFadden's The Locked Door. In all of the book review videos I've done so far, I'm pretty sure I've included a Frida McFadden book because she writes so many novels and they're all psychological thrillers. That's her genre. And, you know, I either really, really like them or I really, really don't like them. It's hard for me to find a middle ground for her novels. So this one, I didn't really like it. I don't know if it's because I've just read so many of her books that it's easy to predict the storyline, the writing style that she has. It's very similar in all her novels. So if you read one or if you read two, they all kind of go the same way when it comes to like the plot. So it was kind of easy to figure out like what was going on, who did the like. I don't know. For me, it was not that great. I'll read the back and then I'll give you my rating. While 11-year-old Nora Davis was up in her bedroom doing homework, she had no idea her father was women in the basement until the day the police arrived at their front door. Decades later, Nora's father is spending his life behind bars, and Nora is a successful surgeon with a quiet, solitary existence. Nobody knows about her past, and she'll do anything to keep it that way. Then, one of her young female patients is in the same unique and horrific manner that her father used to his victims. Somebody knows who Nora is. Somebody wants her to take the fall for this unthinkable crime. But she's not like her father. The police can't pin anything on her, as long as they don't look in her basement. From New York Times bestselling author Frida McFadden comes a riveting psychological thriller about guilt, secrets, and whether it's possible to outrun what is in our blood. 6 out of 10. I read the whole thing. If I really didn't like it, I would have DNF'd it, which just means I wouldn't have finished it. So I did finish it. It's not like completely awful. It's not bad. because you may love this book. It just wasn't for me. Okay, the next book is Look Closer by David Ellis. I enjoyed this book, but it was a little bit longer than all the other books I've read. It's about almost 500 pages, and all my books are like 300 pages. So it was a little bit longer than what I'm used to. So it did take me a little bit longer to read, just because I started getting kind of bored. The first 2/3 were very good, very promising, but the last third was kind of like, I'm sorry if you loved it. I DNF'd it. It's kind of embarrassing because this is how much I had left. I read all of this and then I stopped it here. So I probably will finish it at some point. I don't know. It was so promising in the beginning and then it got so boring. So the back says, Simon and Vicky couldn't seem more normal. A wealthy Chicago couple with a stable, if unexciting marriage. But when these two, absolutely nothing is what it seems. When a beautiful socialite is found hanging in a mansion in a nearby suburb, Simon and Vicky's complex webs of secrets begin to unravel. A whirlwind affair, a $20 million trust fund about to come due, a decades-long grudge and an obsession with revenge. Both Vicky and Simon are liars, but who exactly is conning you? Prepare to question everything you think you know in this wickedly clever novel of greed, revenge, obsession, and quite possibly the perfect word. Like I said, the first 2/3 was amazing. I loved hearing about what happened and how it happened, but then when it got to like the detectives themselves and the trial, I just got kind of bored. I don't know, I cared more about the main characters than like the detectives, but then the detectives became the main characters and I just fell off. I didn't really like it. But if I'm basing it off of the first 2/3, I would give it a 9 out of 10. But incorporating the last third plus what I didn't read, I can't really give it like a full rating. So maybe like a 7 out of 10. I should just finish it so I can give you guys like a realistic rating, but I didn't. So yeah, first 2/3, 9 out of 10. And then what I did read and didn't complete, I don't really know what I would rate that, so I'd say like a 7 out of 10 to average it out. Oh, and I do recommend all these books. I don't think they're awful. I do recommend all of them. I'm just really strict when it comes to rating books because the ones that I rate 10 out of 10, I am like obsessed with, and I expect other books to be similar, and when they're not similar, I'm just kind of like, so this is my last one that I will be rating, and again, I have not finished this, but it's not because I don't like it. I just started it, and I wanted to make this video including this book, and then the next video that I do a book review, I'll talk about the entire book. But I love it so far. It's called Jar of Hearts by Jennifer Hillier. And the back says, 5 years ago, Gio's first love was revealed as a terrifying serial, but he escaped custody and went on the run. Now bodies have started turning up in the exact same way as before, kind of like that other book. The message is clear. He's making his way to her, one at a time. Sorry, I have it here somewhere. But I just started reading it a few days ago, and I'm like halfway done. My problem is I read books really fast, and taking my time with this, and I'm only reading 1 or 2 chapters a day. But I love it. Oh my god, it's so dark. And yeah, I think this and Verity by Colleen Hoover are probably like the darkest books I've read so far. Dark in terms of like very detailed violence. I would put a trigger warning for this one for sure, because it's very graphic, but I like it. So far it's a 10 out of 10 for me, but I've only read the first half, so the second half might disappoint me, who knows. Recommended, yes. So there you have it. Those are all the books that I have read in the last month. I will be back again next month with another book review. Hopefully I will get a good amount of books that I can review. And if you have any recommendations, please, again, comment down below what books you have really enjoyed, and I would love to add them to my Goodreads to be read list. I think I have like 20 books in there, but I'll happily gladly add more. Thank you guys for watching. As always, thank you for your kindness, your support, and I love you, Magpies. Have a wonderful spooky season.